Mr. Jordan, the Voting Rights Act is permanent law, and it doesn't expire. Okay. You touched on this, but is there any creditable record of substantial and sustained voter suppression going on in the country right now that you're aware of?
Mr. Ranking Member, I would argue just the opposite. We're seeing more participation than we've ever seen before. I think we had 153 million
It's the highest turnout in 120 years.
Ever. Numbers-wise, percentage-wise, it was getting close as well. So, yeah, I mean, people are, the chairman mentioned we need to protect our democracy. I would just ask a simple question. Is it undemocratic to require an ID to vote? I don't think so. I mean, several states do it. This bill would make it harder for states to enact a photo ID requirement when you vote. And some people read it as making it for current states that already have a photo ID requirement, that they'd have to go check with the Justice Department to make sure that's still okay, even though that's been the pattern in practice in the law in their respective state. So, no, I think it's a great point. You're seeing record turnouts, increased turnout in the African-American community, increased turnout in the Hispanic-American community, increased turnout for all Americans in our elections, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I would actually tell you as an old pollster, it's one of the big challenges for pollsters is that the participation has been going up, so the old models in terms of trying to predict an election are getting a lot tougher to get right. And pollsters of both parties have had that problem. Does current law protect Americans from voter discrimination? Is the law pretty clear?
It's very clear, and frankly, that's what we want. If you got something happening that's diminishing in any way someone's ability to go vote, you want people who are doing that, you want them held accountable, and the law certainly does that, and that's a good thing.
And under current law, if an individual voter feels discriminated against, can he or she bring suit?
Sure can.
And under current law, if the Department of Justice feels as if some gross violation of rights, can they bring suit against discriminatory laws?
Sure can.
So, you know, given that, in your view, what's the purpose of the legislation that we're looking at?
I think it's to go after states who are trying to shore up voter registration lists and make sure that people who haven't voted in, whatever length of time or aren't supposed to be on the voter list, who have passed away or whatever, make sure that the voter registration list is accurate, and states that want to have a photo ID so that we know that, like in our state you have, when you go to vote, you have to do a signature match and you have to show a photo ID. There are 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats sitting in every single polling station, including Mad River Township B, where I vote, out in the country in Champaign County. It's a good system. That's what we want, and I think it's going to make it tougher for those kind of common sense practices that 81% of the country support to be enacted and put in place. We saw what happened when certain states tried to reform and upgrade their election law. The attack from the mainstream press and from so many Democrats. That's unfortunate, but look, we want everyone who wants to vote to be able to vote. We just want it done in a fair way.
No further questions. Yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Cole. Just a couple